Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here. Hope you guys are having a lovely Saturday so far. Saturday the 14th, guys. How was your Friday the 13th? I hope it was awesome. I had such a great time watching all sorts of streams and kicking it all over the place. It was a lot of fun. I stayed up way too late, guys. I stayed up way too late, but as a result of myself staying up way too late, I got a heck of a great guest coming up for Late Night with the Davey Before Dark this Wednesday. I'm really looking forward to that. More on that later. I'll put a little something together for you guys to show that off. So very, very pumped for that. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Thank you so much again for joining us here. This is going to be something special. You know, we haven't done anything quite like this. We've had we brought on folks from the community and all that kind of stuff, but this is the very first time we've done something where a Patreon member has requested that I watch and review a film, and I got the wild idea of just wanting to invite them on and review the movie with me. So we're gonna give that a shot today. I'm super pumped to do this. We're going to be talking about The Collector with Trisha McMaster. She's not only a Patreon member, she is also a YouTube channel member and one of our Death Squad mods. So we're going to get her on here in just a few minutes, but I'm going to say what's up to everybody in the chat, and then we'll bring on Trisha, and we'll start talking about The Collector from 2009. We got Chester Franklin Jr. in the chat. What's happening, Chester? So great to see you. Adrian James, how you doing, Adrian? Ashton Luck, what's happening, Ashton? Always a pleasure, my friend. There she is, Trisha McMasters. We got Paula Fitzhenry hanging out. How are you doing, Paula? So good to see you. We got Brett from Good Real Hunting. What's happening, Bretty boy? Mr. Brett, hope you're doing well. Brad Underwood is in the chat. How are you doing, Brad? So good to see you. And we got Ryan Olishow in the chat as well. How are you doing, Ryan? Brent Reef, what's happening, Brent? Brent, are you new to the chat? Maybe you are new to the chat. Welcome on in. You're kicking it with the Death Squad. Hope you're doing well. We got Gene Whitcomb in the chat as well. How are you doing, Gene? So great to see you. Yeah, guys, this is cool and different. What we're gonna do, Trisha and I are gonna go through basically the same kind of criteria that I use here on the channel and that we use over on the Horror Show channel. So we're going to give our overall thoughts. We'll talk about a little bit about the story. We'll talk about the direction, the acting, the sound design, the visual effects, and the kills in this case. And then we'll kind of wrap things up with our closing thoughts on the film. So yeah, this is going to be fun. What's happening, Jamie, our original Death Squad mod and channel member? Hope you're doing well. Okay, guys, are you pumped? Are you psyched? Are you ready for Trisha McMasters to join us? Let's go ahead and bring her on the stage, and then we'll do this. Boom! There she is, everyone. How are you doing, Trisha?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Just a little tired. Not gonna lie. I was up until 6. I'm crazy sometimes. Craziness. Yeah, it was a wild Friday the 13th, to say the least. How have you been? Gosh, it seems like you've got such a busy life. You run a couple businesses, don't you?
I do. I am in the process of selling one, just to take something off my plate. But yeah, we're business owners, lots of kids, lots of dogs, full life. And Brent is my little brother.
Oh, nice, Brent.
Yes.
So cool to have you joining us.
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, but we've only posted one video.
It's okay. You will, once you guys catch the bug and you start putting together a handful of videos, it'll be something that you're just gonna obsess over. That's what it's kind of turned into me, or for me, just a total obsession. But welcome on in, Brent. Yeah, I hope you enjoy checking seeing your sister on the channel here today. So Trisha, before we dive into the review, do you want to tell me why you tell everybody why you picked The Collector as your as your movie for me to watch and review?
Probably because I wanted to pick something that was more obscure. I think of it as kind of like a cult movie. I think it has a following. But also there was so much buzz with Saw, and is there going to be a Saw 11? And The Collector was actually written to be a Saw prequel, and so it's kind of, closely related, but it's
Hmm.
not the same. And it's from the early 2000s, which is one of my favorite eras of horror movies because I was a teenager and a young adult then. So it just holds a special place in my heart. And since you hadn't seen it, I knew you would probably dig it. So,
Nice. Yeah, and this is one that I totally had missed because I've seen like a few of the Saw movies. I didn't like dive too deep into that franchise or anything. So, yeah, I this was a cool one to watch for the very
yeah.
first time. Thank you for picking it. And I can totally see the Saw connections for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that for sure. Let's see here. So yeah, guys, this one, The Collector. So it's written by Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, and it's directed by Marcus Dunstan. Now, Patrick Melton looks like he's kind of gone into more of like a producer role, but it looks like he worked on Final Destination Bloodlines most recently, and of course those Saw movies. And yeah, Marcus Dunstan here, The Collector, Feast, and The Collection. And he also worked as a writer in the Saw franchise as well. So, so interesting. I knew there would be like some sort of connection as far as like the feel and the look of the movie. I didn't know that it was originally written as a prequel for John Kramer.
Yes. And if you
Okay.
notice, the lighting, and probably since you're not a huge Saw fan, it may not like come across immediately to you. But those of us who have seen all of the films many times, the lighting and the
Mm.
way that the camera shots is the same as Saw. So there's like the green lighting,
Yeah.
the cuts, even
Yeah.
the kills. Like it's like a Saw cousin, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely has that feel, like that kind of Saw adjacent.
Yes.
So yeah, let's go ahead and get into overall thoughts. Yeah, so going into this, I really didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to be like super brutal and really gory? And in some ways it is, but there's also I don't know, there is something, it's got that kind of heist kind of feel too, kind of like a crime film sort of. I mean, you've got like Arkin, who is not like the best guy in the world, but he's got like a lot of heart. He's got like a good heart, but he has to do some things that he doesn't really want to do, to essentially take care of his family. It seems like he's taking care of, it's like his ex, like his baby mama. He's trying to help her out. That's what I'm picking up on. It doesn't seem like they're together.
I think that's his wife. I do think that's his wife. Yeah, they have a weird relationship. Because he does kind of come off almost estranged.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're married, but I think it's just complicated.
Okay.
But Arkin is the reason I love the movie so much. I think if they had casted Arkin differently, it might not have worked as well. But with it being Josh Stewart, he's so likable. And he's such a complicated and real character because he's not all good, but he's not all bad. And his motivations are complex. It's not simple. And everything. And there's some elements to him that, he kind of has a good heart, but like a sense of humor. I don't know. There's something about him that's you're really drawn to and you root for,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He is he's a little bit of an anti-hero here. You're definitely rooting for him, but he's also, the reason why he's in this house is he's essentially there to rob the people so he
Right.
can help his
Right.
wife. So yeah, there is that kind of anti-hero element. And yeah, I mean, I guess just to wrap up like my overall thoughts on here before we start, you know, kind of dissecting it. This movie, man, once it ramps up, once he's in the house with the collector, it really doesn't let up right until the very end. I mean, it is like it moves. This movie's got it does not waste anyone's time, and it definitely, it's almost like things just get from bad to worse for our guy Arkin.
Yeah. But
and
something, yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say something that's really cool about it is, even though there are probably, if you think too much about it, there's probably a lot of plot holes you can find, or things that are hard for your mind to wrap around. But if you kind of just turn off your brain and enjoy the ride, it's cool because it's almost like Home Alone meets, you know, Scream meets Saw, you know, and those are three of my favorite franchises. And so it's no wonder that this movie kind of hits it for me. I'm not like a huge Terrifier fan. I have boundaries when it comes to gore. And this one's right at the limit. Like, it gives me what I want without going too far.
Yeah, I think I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, Terrifier, I've seen those movies. They're not really for me. This one doesn't. Yeah, this one's like right in that sweet spot where it is a little more brutal, but it's not too. It's not like torture porn or anything like that.
And you kind of like have that whodunit aspect of, who is the collector? Why is he collecting? What's he about? There's like this lore that kind of entices you. You know, it's not just cut and dry. Like, there's more to it, which makes it interesting.
Yeah, and you know, even the very opening scene, there's like that intrigue with the case. You know, so we get like, and then, you know, we end up seeing that character pop back up in the movie later on. But yeah, you don't really know the collector's motivations. You know that he kills some people, he likes to collect other people, but you don't really know.
And you see little things throughout the movie where he likes insects, or like is fond of insects or spiders or something, which is weird because you find out later he's with the you know, spoiler alert, but you know, with the exterminator company. And so, but you like, and like a lot of his designs are very like spider webbish. So you're like, is he collecting people? Is he collecting bugs? And he has like all those bugs that he uses like to torture and stuff. So
he almost seems like there's, I don't, you know, maybe in the second movie, I'm not sure if they show him more, but he does seem like maybe a little bit deformed or something like that. Like, there's something going on with him. His eyes seem very odd to me. Like, sometimes they look black, sometimes they look glassy. But yeah, I think that you know, in the beginning when Arkin, you know, finds the wasp nest and he's telling the exterminators about him, the guy with the gas mask, I'm guessing that's the collector, in the gas mask, that like gives him the thumbs up or whatever. Because it looks like there's a couple exterminators, but I'm like, that must be the guy. And I one last thing on my overall thoughts. I noticed it the first time I saw the movie, and I noticed it this last time. How in the hell does the collector set up all these traps? Because when he first gets into the house, none of the traps are set up, and then every room that Arkin goes into, it's like the collector is just set up, like very, very quickly set up these really intricate, you know, little. Whether it's like razors in the windows, you know, or it's razor wire, like you're saying with the spider web kind of thing.
I think they want us to like believe he had access to the house through the extermination company, and then the people were supposed to go on vacation, and so he goes in there, and he probably has done this multiple times. So he can work quickly and has like a system, but it kind of does go outside the realm of possibility a little bit,
Yeah,
you know. So you
for
kind of have to
sure.
shut your brain off and not think about it too. Because
Yeah,
like, how would you have hundreds of bear traps or something, you know, without getting
sure.
flagged or something?
Well, yeah, and it's like at one point when Arkin goes into the house, there's nothing has been set up. Like when he's going to
Right.
rob the people, the
Right.
house is like totally clean. And then
Yeah.
within like the next 15 minutes, you realize, oh no, every room's been like booby trapped to
And
all hell.
and you know that Arkin's there hours before midnight because his deadline is midnight to
Yeah,
get his woman the money. And so how long would the exterminator or the collector have had? You know,
yeah.
like,
Well, and Arkin doesn't notice anything when he goes into the house,
right,
right?
right.
So it's almost like everything's set up after the time that Arkin is in there. That was, just one thing that like kind of stood out to me.
Yeah.
Jamie says you're very Lynchian today with the shot of the ceiling fan in the mirror. It's great. I love it. And then Ella says, "Mom, you look so pretty. Can she even see my comment?"
Oh, Ella. Oh, she's at her dad's. So that I sent her the link.
Oh, that's too sweet. Thank you for joining us,
Yeah.
Ella. Really appreciate it. And happy Sanjo's joined us. Gina, aka My Chunky Jordy, is in the house. We got Eli Cortez in the house as well. Yeah, so moving on over from overall thoughts to the direction and cinematography, you kind of hinted at it a little bit. There is definitely that kind of grainy, sort of early Saw film look. Yeah, especially the greens are really heavy. And yeah, the editing, there's something about the way this movie's edited that feels very much like a Saw movie, especially like in the Saw movies when they are doing like flashbacks to what people's lives were like or showing John Kramer's life. There's a little bit of like a dreamy quality, I think, to the way this is directed and shot. Yeah, talk to me. Yeah, go for it.
Sorry. Yeah, there's like a hecticness to it too, like a chaoticness, and like the vibes kind of lend itself to like the late 90s, early 2000s. And that's my favorite era of movies, horror or otherwise, and so I think just like the nostalgia and the way that it makes me feel with the filming, it might be a turn off to some. They may think it's grainy or cheesy or whatever, but to me, it's appealing for those reasons.
Yeah, it's got that a little bit of that nostalgic kind of feel and look to it. It's very much of that time. Like it's, the we'll get into the music later, but I think the music is a big part of like putting it in that early 2000 phase as well. And yeah, this one is shot really, really well. The way that certain things are revealed, like I said, every time Arkin goes into a new room, you kind of get this, fresh reveal of the hell that's in there. Man, the room with like the sticky acid stuff, and the cat, that stuff just breaks my little heart.
I warned you about that before.
Yeah,
I know you're a cat lover. I was like, there's one scene with the cat.
It's a heartbreaker.
It's cute because, well, not the scene, but like Arkin's intentions is he's trying to help the cat too. Where like he grabs the cat and tries to like have him escape out the window, not knowing that the window is also booby trapped. So his intent was to save that whole family, not just the little girl. Like he tries to save the people and their pet. So I mean that kind of shows what kind of person he is,
For sure. Yeah, he's trying his hardest to save these people, but it's very difficult. I mean, it's difficult enough for him to try to save himself.
Right.
And and people, once people just want to start doing their own thing in this movie, it doesn't really work out for him, unfortunately.
Because at any time he could have left and said, "Screw you guys," but he couldn't. So
he especially couldn't leave the girl. Like once he saw the little girl in the window, it's like, because he's got a young daughter that's like about, maybe just a couple years older. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, there is he's got a good heart. And yeah, the way that you know, just to bring it back really quick to the direction and the cinematography,
Yeah.
there is the way that this movie shot and edited that just brings that intensity and brutality. You really feel like when he gets like the hooks in his, in his cheeks and in his eye or whatever it is, oh my gosh, like you really feel it. It's very visceral, and it's they do a bang up job here with the
I will
direction and
say
the
one of my
cinematography.
favorite parts in like that's filmed. I don't know all the lingo because I'm not great with like I didn't go to film school, so I didn't, I don't know.
Hey, me neither.
Yeah, but I guess it would be the direction and the camera work. But it's whenever the older sister, I think her name is Jill, and her boyfriend are there. And they are. It's so funny because they're walking in, and there's knives everywhere. Like they almost
Yeah.
step on multiple traps the whole
Yep.
time. They're like making out, but the way that it's filmed when he puts her, like he's laying her over the table and the collector's watching in the corner the whole time. When she sees him, the collector's kind of upside down,
Yeah.
and you see his eyes. I just think that's so cool. And then like boom, it springs into action and goes from like a really like tense romantic part to and stuff. And it's crazy because at the same time Arkin's trying to help them and sneak around, like, and I think at this time the collector hasn't really seen him or know exactly his whereabouts. He keeps trying to get to him, but the way that that's filmed is one of the coolest shots. Like, if I wouldn't think to do that, but watching it is really neat because she's almost like upside down.
Yeah, they put the camera, like you get to see it from her perspective.
Yes, and I think that's cool. Yeah.
And then they even do that like when there's that tense like standoff and the collector's like throwing the knife from one hand to the other or whatever, and there's like that little bit of like slow motion that they use there at that moment. That's a little trick they use from time to time. And so getting into the acting, I mean, Josh Stewart is great here as Arkin. I mean, he's really good for a character that gets dropped into a really shitty situation, and we're kind of finding out along with him like what's really going on. And he does a great job here.
I think him in anything that he's in, but he really is a standout in this movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to see. I'm like, have I seen him in anything else? Dark Knight Rises. I don't
Criminal
remember.
Minds. He's a big name in Criminal Minds, and so he's like a fan favorite. And so I've seen Criminal Minds, but he's in a lot of random things. But anything he's in, he's always really good.
Yeah, he's got a look that's very familiar to me. I'm looking through his IMDb to see if anything stands out.
If I remember correctly, I think he's from like Louisiana or something. So he naturally has this drawl, and stuff. So that adds like character to him,
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I know Criminal Minds. I've just never seen it, but there's something he's got this look that's so familiar to me. He's great here. I even think that the person that plays the collector, Juan Fernandez plays the collector.
He's creepy. Yeah,
there's this really, the way that he like walks around, he's just got this really, again, it is like you were saying with like the insect kind of thing. There's something a little like inhuman about his performance there as well. And I think there's really quick. I meant to bring it up when we were talking more about like the overall thoughts and the story and stuff. I think there is some sort of like metaphor with the bug, right? Because he is a exterminator, but also he's like the bug that's getting into the house as well.
Right.
And then one of the last shots of the movie, they show that the spider, right, crawling around on something in the house. So there's this whole like, the person that's supposed to be taking care of the bugs is actually the real pest here, like the real bug. And I mean, the other performances there, really a lot of these actors don't get a lot of time to shine.
They
There's
don't.
just
They
there's
don't.
not much time there. Really, a little bit with like the
little
mom of
girl.
the mom and the little girl. You get like more of them. The little girl is really good here.
Yeah.
That's man, that must have been such a tough acting job for a little girl to be in something this scary and this crazy. I don't
She
know.
did good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have been able to do that as a kid. I would have been freaked the hell out by
Well,
that
and
guy.
there's a lot of times you watch something with children in horror movies, and they
Yeah.
kind of get on your nerves, or they kind of take you out of
Yeah.
it. She does like she doesn't get on your nerves. She's smart. She listens. Like you can tell her and Arkin have like this connection.
Yeah.
And she portrays that really well. So
Yeah, she trusts him, and she's never
yeah,
at any point she's never like, "Why are you back in my house?" Because it's
right.
survival at that point,
She like senses he's good.
Yeah, yeah, that he's there
And
to help for sure.
and there's something I think I don't know if it because I've seen this movie probably 10 or so times. So I don't know if they ever say this or if it's just my mind connecting dots. But I feel like the collector only collects people he almost admires. Like he thinks of
Mm,
worthy, opponents. And so I kind of got
gotcha.
that feel that he almost admired Arkin, and
Yeah,
that's who he chose.
yeah, and I guess you imagine the same kind of thing with the guy at the beginning, that there must be
Right.
he must be some sort of either some sort of like crime boss or some sort of, I don't know. There's something about like, I just get that feeling from the guy at the beginning that he must be mixed up in something that's a little
Right.
bigger, and that's why the collector is after him.
Yeah.
Ella says, "I love acting." Does she act?
She does. Yeah, she does. She's in musical theater, so she
Oh,
sings and
nice.
dances and acts. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's show Trish and her brother some love and give them a sub, says Eli. He dropped the Bloodline broadcast link down
That's
there
sweet,
in the
Eli.
chat.
Thank you. We will
Yes,
get more videos. I promise. I promise.
let's encourage them. All right, moving on to the sound design. Yeah, man, the sound design is a big part of this movie because it kind of brings to life some of these traps.
Yeah.
And the people, when they're, I don't want to say tortured because they're not really, but when they're like in the devices that the collectors put them in, or even when Arkin gets his hand stuck between the two razor blades and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
there's something about the sound design really brings it all to life here.
It
What
really
do you?
helps build tension because it's
Mhm.
so uneasy. It's not anything that's like pleasing to your ears.
Mhm.
It's not like a musical score or something.
Yeah.
It's literal sounds.
Yeah.
Like in there it kind of like helps you go, you know, this
Yeah,
this
and there,
tension filled.
yeah, and there's a little bit. The score is like pretty sparse, and again, kind of reminds me of that sort of Saw feel as
Right.
well. I'm curious to know who did the music here. I wonder if it's somebody. If I wonder if it's the same person. I'm always curious to know that those
Mhm.
through lines. Composer is Jerome Dillon. Let's see. No, he did Bully, The Collector, No One Lives. Okay, so he really only done, looks like a handful of movies here. Vacancy 2. I didn't even know there was a Vacancy 2. But yeah, his score here is very sparse but really effective.
Yeah.
There's something about it that just really puts you there, and brings those traps to life. I think that with the sound design and the score
Yeah.
both do that.
There's a part at towards the end where I think Arkin's in the ambulance, and you think, well, maybe he's getting saved, right? He's gonna be
Yeah.
able because he pulls that jewel out of his pocket, and you think, this is great. He's gonna be able to get it to his wife before midnight. Everything's gonna work
Yeah.
out. But you hear this, sh- 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 like it's just noise, and
Hmm.
you're kind of like, the sound is telling me otherwise. Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to
Yeah.
get out and have a happy ending. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It's the ending is heartbreaking. Um,
It's
heartbreaking
kind
for
of
Arkin.
funny though, because like I don't know if you caught the post credit scene, but it's literally him in the box, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna get out of here and kill you." Like it's kind of, it ends on like a funny note, and then also it leaves it wide open for there to be a franchise.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was like a post-credit scene or a little
Hmm.
stinger scene. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I totally missed it. Damn it.
Yeah. It's only like 30 seconds, but it's funny because it shows that Arkin's still alive. He's in the box.
Hmm.
He's mad, and the collector's just kind of like, haha, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is shocking at the end when you think he's made it out and then boom,
But
the
those are some
band.
of my favorite movies. I don't always need a happy ending. I don't think
Yeah.
we watch horror movies always to have a happy ending. If we want a happy
Yeah.
ending, we'll put on a rom com. Like, we're watching horror movies to see something different, something exciting, something unexpected. And
Yeah.
so the ending was satisfying to me.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And then it leaves everything open for, what they wanted to do. I haven't seen the sequel yet, but I would imagine one of the reasons why they did that is so they could continue the story.
Yeah.
Um, Coy says that he likes the sequel quite a bit. So,
The sequel is interesting because it takes place like in the collector's lair. So
gotcha.
it does expand upon the lore, but it's also very like they definitely need a third movie because it kind of opens too many doors and too many
Okay.
questions that they leave unanswered, but you get a lot more Arkin, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they've got the collector, the collection, and then the one that they're prepping to do next is the
Collected.
collected.
Yeah.
So that should wrap it all up, I would imagine.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I would love to see Josh Stewart again. That would be
Love
cool.
to love to see what again?
Josh Stewart again.
Josh Stewart. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, he's so good in here. Yeah, moving on to the visual effects and the kills. Man, everything looks practical here. If they're using CG, I can't really tell. It all looks pretty practical. The effects here are so good. The sewing of the mouth shut.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the sticky acid in the one bedroom.
Yes.
That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah. His hands in the razor blades.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, so I here recently have seen, Final Destination 6 and Cloud in the Cornfield, which they're fun, but I
Mhm.
mean, you just, the CGI just kind of takes you out of it.
Yeah.
When I'm watching Clown in the Cornfield, I'm like, that the blood doesn't even look real. Like, it's just camp, camp, camp.
Yeah.
Camp is not going to totally work in the collector, and so I appreciate the realism. It looks like people are really getting killed in
Yeah.
ways that would kill people, and so I appreciate that. I love practical. I wish we were doing more practical with movies.
Yeah, I think it's always like, you can have a good mixture of the two, but
Right.
it's nice to lean on the practical. And here, the practical is really what sells everything. I mean,
Yes.
especially, yeah, I mean, when the collector basically hooks Arkin up to
Yes.
what, a beam in the basement or whatever it
Yeah,
is,
it's not
but
like
he's
the
like,
spit. Yeah.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
just all hooked in, and I think there's a whole bunch like in his back that he essentially just has to like
I
lean
love
forward and
it.
rip out.
Yes.
It is brutal. It's all
Good.
done in camera, and it's
Yeah.
you really feel it.
Yeah.
it hurts. I'm wince. I can see the wince on my face right now. I'm like, ooh. And even like, you know, there's the moment where he's trying to save the older daughter of the family,
Yeah.
and he's basically like, "Don't go in there. Like, don't get too far away from me." And then she just gets like launched into this wall of spikes.
Yeah. Which is
And
cool. It's so cool.
yeah, it is gnarly. And
Yeah.
then the boyfriend gets that really cool. He like goes to punch the collector and just gets a knife right in his hand. It's a really cool effect.
And then he falls into a sea of bear traps.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful practical effects there.
Yeah.
Even all the, you know, the collector's very good at throwing knives. So there's a lot of like knife throwing that all looks damn real. I'm like, when he's throwing them as Arkin's like running away, I'm like, shit, that really looks like those are real knives being thrown there. And
yeah,
maybe they are. Maybe they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, another effect I loved is when he takes the guy that was in the case, that he pushes into the room, and that's the guy that, you know, when they're trying to electrocute the collector, but it really just ends up being one of the victims that gets electrocuted, and then the collector uses that guy's body as a battering ram to like break open a door. It is brutal. And yeah, I mean, great effects, great kills. I mean, that's what
I loved the electrocution scene. Like it looks cool. It looks cool.
Yeah. Another good use of slow motion. This movie, you know, not every movie can use slow motion well. Sometimes it can seem a little cheesy, but I think when this movie does it, they pick their spots very well. And yeah, I mean, like you were saying when you were talking about this era of filmmaking, especially in horror, you know, it was more practical at the time with stuff like this, with kind of like smaller movies, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of, it takes you back to that early 2000s, or I guess it's the late aughts, I guess we could say, because it's 09. This movie's 16 years old. How wild is that?
Yeah. But I just love that time period. I love found footage is probably one of my favorite subgenres of horror, and it has kind of the feel, the camera work and the lighting and sound design all kind of works the same. And I just love those kind of movies because I think it's the realism, and it kind of literally puts you in the movie.
Oh yeah.
And so you're really escaping. I'm going to watch Final Destination and enjoy it, but I don't feel like I'm a part of that world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And here I feel like I'm a part of the world, you know, and that's what's appealing to me.
Yeah, you get that. I get a visceral reaction. Like you know, I wince and I sort of cringe, but in a way that's like, you know, they're having the audience completely buy into the world by the way that they're you know, using the effects, and also the way they're shooting the film, I think like really puts you there also.
Yeah.
Yeah, the VFX and kills here, I think it's one of the shining aspects. I think the simplicity of the story is really what brings you in, that it's not this convoluted kind of thing. You're sort of wondering the whole time who this guy is, but you're also experiencing it along with Arkin. So as he learns things and as he discovers stuff, you're also discovering it too. So the audience really gets to feel like they're in Arkin's shoes, which is nice. And then, these kills just bring it on home. I mean, it's this movie. I guess I'll have to watch the collection just to see how I'm feeling about it all, because it sounds like, just from what I'm seeing here in the chat, it sounds like it's a pretty good follow-up. And you know, but you're saying it's a little bit of maybe a step down, but it's still a quality film, yeah?
Yes, it's in The Collector, you really get to experience everything for the first time with Arkin, and you really like Arkin, and it's a smaller cast of characters, and so like whenever he's mad and yelling at the wife for dying, when he's like, I told you should have been quiet, why didn't you listen to me, you know, like you feel that and stuff. And in the collection, you don't get as much of that because it's a much bigger cast, and it's like what they do a lot of times in sequels, bigger budget, bigger
Mhm.
everything, and sometimes you don't need that. And so I like the collection. I can totally watch it and everything, but I enjoy I'm going to go to the collector more often than I
Mm.
will the collection for sure.
Yeah, and I guess the cool thing about this movie is even though it does kind of have that open-ended ending, it it's like you don't really need to know what happens next. Like it is like it is still its own story.
Right.
Um I guess like that'll just bring us kind of on the over to the closing thoughts. Um yeah, I'm so happy that you picked this one, Trisha. This is a damn good movie, and
Yeah.
one that I probably should have watched back when also.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. It's good to. There's so many movies I need to catch up on, so it's always
Right.
fun to catch up on something and to really enjoy it. This actually makes me want to go back and because especially since doing YouTube, I've met a lot of people that are really big fans of all the Saw films as well,
Yeah.
and I've only seen a few of those. So this makes me want to go back and get my early 2000s horror on, as it were, and jump on back into Saw as well, and then of course check out the collection, um, and then
I
hopefully
think,
after.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think a big reason the collector kind of got lost in the shuffle was because it came out at a time where we had the Saws coming out every year.
Hmm.
The Hostels were coming out. There were a
Mm,
lot of movies with these same themes. And so
yeah,
it kind of got lost. But I think where it found its footing and where a lot of horror movies find their footing was when it came out for you to, buy on physical media. Because the
yeah,
physical media sales were like through the roof, and streaming and stuff like that. It's kind of, even though, like you said, it's 16 years old, I think it's still, people know of the collector. I know Dead Meat, they did a kill count on it not even too long ago. I think it was
yeah.
this year. Like, it still has an audience. It's
Hmm.
still growing in popularity, but I think it just came out at a hard time for it to stand out. But now
Mm,
you can look back and watch it and appreciate it, because I feel like as movie horror fans, you kind of crave movies like The Collector, you know?
yeah. Yeah, and it's got this. I mean, it's amazing. So this one came out in '09. I would imagine
Yeah.
the sequel is maybe just a couple years later. But yeah,
Yeah.
like you're saying, it still has this life because there's this want for that third film in the franchise as well.
Yeah.
So I think maybe some of that talk of the third film made people want to go back to the original and check it out. Folks like Dead Meat going back to the original
Yeah.
because now there's a little bit of news out there about a third film in the franchise.
I mean, horror
Um,
movie fans are committed, if nothing else.
yeah,
Like, we find what we love and we stay true. And so we're like, we're not going to forget you,
yeah, yeah,
we're still obsessing over films that came out 40, 50, 60 years
yeah.
ago,
We all
still
we always
praising
want more.
it.
Yeah, we
Yes.
always want more. Like even with
Yeah.
I know not everyone is this way, but even with like the Halloween movies, as soon as the David Gordon Green trilogy
Yes.
ended, there's like a couple years go by and people are like, okay, when are we gonna get Michael again? Like I
I
can
don't
wait,
think
but
it'll
when is it
ever
gonna
end.
happen?
Yeah.
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 Oh no.
No.
They'll take a break. They'll take a break, but I would
Right.
imagine by the time the 50th anniversary rolls around in 2028, I'd imagine we'll have another Halloween movie for
We'll
that 50th.
eventually get Freddie and Jason and
Yeah.
everyone else. Horror movies will kind of wait out for these people who own it to die out, and then
There you go.
whoever inherits it will probably take a big
Yeah.
paycheck, and we'll get those movies too. Like, no one just lets go of things
Yeah.
that they love, you know.
And, well, and there's always like a brand new audience for horror too. There's
Yeah.
always, young kids that are their parents watch it, so they get
Yeah.
shown horror movies when they're younger. They get to experience these movies in a totally different way than we did. I
Yeah.
mean, and I'm kind of like, you know, I'm an early 80s baby, so a lot of the franchises that have fallen in love with, they existed before I was born, or they had started before I was born. There's very few horror franchises. Like, I remember when Child's Play was brand new because I was 6 years old. So
Yeah.
it's like those are, and then Scream, like those are the franchises that like I was there for the beginning.
Yeah.
But Friday the 13th and Halloween, and even, I was born in 82. A Nightmare on Elm Street was 84, but even that felt like something that was already rolling by the time I was like conscious and aware of it. So I think there's that part of horror fandom as well. Like there's always a young crop that wants to see more of these characters.
I
And once they
definitely
fall
fit
in love with
into
them.
that. I have 2 teenagers and I have a 12-year-old, so he'll be a teenager soon enough. And seeing them fall in love with different horror franchises, they all like different ones, but it's cool to get their perspective. It kind of breathes
Mhm.
new life for me, but also I'm creating little fans.
Yeah.
And my 12-year-old loves Scream, and he also loves Child's Play. And it's crazy
Mm.
because these movies are so, especially to him, they're old.
Yeah.
They're just, 80s is a weird concept for my kids. And I was born
Yeah.
in the 80s, and they're like, ugh. Um, but like it's cool because he loved watching. We watched Child's Play and Child's Play 2 in
Mm.
one
Classic.
day, and I haven't let him watch Bride of Chucky, and that's probably my favorite Child's Play movie. I haven't let him watch that yet because I just thought I don't know about that just yet.
It's a
But
little too sexy.
yeah,
A little
yeah.
too much
Well,
of the sexy stuff.
he would probably love it. But
Yeah.
I'm like, let's get to the third one first. But my
Yeah.
daughter, I introduced her to Saw. She sat down in her room. I think we watched like the first two together. She watched all the rest on her own in like 2 days. And she just fell in love with the characters and the story. And so she was primed and ready when Saw X came out. And
Nice.
it's just really cool. It's really cool introducing your kids and creating little fans, and then
Yeah.
it breathes new life and new excitement into you as well. So
For sure. Yeah, you get to
Mhm.
experience it all over again. It's
Yeah,
a fun thing. Ella says you should do Fear Street 94.
she loves the Fear Street. Yeah, have you watched those on Netflix?
I haven't seen any of those.
Okay, so we've watched the three, the 1994, 1978, 1666, where was the trilogy.
Yeah.
And then they came out with an 80s one called Prom Queen.
Yeah.
Me and Ella have watched all those together, and they're campy. I mean, they're campy.
Yeah. They're
Um,
just for fun.
they're for fun, but her age eats them
Yeah.
up,
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, because those are based on like R.L. Stein books, I think,
yeah,
right?
which I own a large portion of them because that's what I read in high
Yeah.
school. So
Yeah. Ellis also says, I'm telling Siler you said that. I guess
I'm
about
guessing,
Bride of Chucky.
yeah, yeah. Okay, let them know.
Jordan says all good ideas came in the later half of the 20th century. Too much stuff nowadays is a rehash of something that came before it, or just a horrible concept. Some exceptions, though, of course. Yeah. Well, there's only so many stories. It's all about like getting creative and finding a different angle to do it from. I think that The Collector is definitely, something that stands out as having a more original feel than not, for sure.
I
This
do
is
feel like
stands out.
it's harder to fall in love, like probably 2015 on, than before. I don't think filmmakers put as much heart into things.
Mhm.
So I think that's why something like Final Destination, even though there was a 14-year gap, no one cared. They were so excited.
Yeah.
That's why Scream, there will always, no matter what drama is happening behind the scenes, it's going to be a full house,
Yeah.
And so it's just, if they put more heart and less CGI and actually focus on the characters, I think the opinion would change. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's what the collector has. Like, you really dig Arkin, you're behind
Mhm.
him, you don't mind spending the whole time with him,
Yeah.
and we're ready for a third one.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't have buttoned it up better than that, Trisha. That's a great way to put a cap on our thoughts for the collector. Guys in the chat, give it up for Trisha McMasters. How cool is it to have one of the community members hop onto a live and do a review? And I'll be doing one of these with Koi from Happy Sanjo, covering Daybreakers. I've never seen that one.
That one's
So
good. Yeah.
yeah, that was a movie he picked. And then anyone,
Okay.
I reached out to Dean Renner, any of our other Patreon members. That's something that I'll offer for you guys. So
I'm guessing Koi is a vampire fan.
he must be. Yes, that's what that movie is, right? It's a vampire flick.
If I'm thinking of the right one, I think it's vampire.
Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Which Ethan Hawke, hello. I mean,
yeah.
What's Ella saying?
She says, "Yes, Mom, I love you so much."
Aww, it's gonna make me
too
cry.
sweet.
Yeah.
Too sweet.
Yeah. And she loves. Oh, that's my brother. That's so cute. She loves Black Phone. Of course, me and my brother grew up on horror. We devour it still to this day. We just love it.
Yeah, I saw Black Phone for the first time. Oh man, month and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah, she loves it. She's watched it several times on her own, and she's excited for the sequel, which looks really interesting.
Yeah, the sequel looks totally different. Like, I love that they're kind of switching things up and not just doing a rehash of the first one. Yeah, looks very interesting. I thought Black Phone was damn solid.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got Denise Wheat, another Patreon member and channel member. So Denise, if there's a movie that you want me to watch and review, and even if you want to hop on and review it with me, we can do that live. Just wanted to let you know, since you're coming in here at the tail end. The Collector is what Trisha picked, Denise. Yeah. So that's why we're talking The Collector today. Let's see here. What do you got coming up, Trisha? What's going on in Trisha's world that you want to let everyone know about?
Well, hoping that by July 7th, which is a special day for two different reasons. It's my oldest. It'll be his 18th birthday. But
nice.
Yes. But we're hoping that my brother finds out some good news, and then we can proceed with our channel.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So July 7th, that's the date that we're looking at.
Yeah.
To learn a little bit more about Bloodline Broadcast. Is that what it is?
And you guys will love him. Brent is so funny. He's so funny. And so you would have a ball with him.
How much of an age difference is there between you two?
6 years.
Oh, okay. He's 6 years younger?
He's one of my very best friends. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. All the positive thoughts and prayers and everything that you guys get what you're looking for and can hit the ground running with your channel. And then once you're doing your channel, we'll have to get both of you on over here. Now, do you guys live in the same area? Are you going to do the channel like in the same spot, or are you going to do the channel remotely, kind of like what we're doing here?
So, funny thing, we literally live 60 seconds apart. We bought a house literally in walking distance of his. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's too cool. So you'll be able to just be live in the same room. That's
easy. Yeah.
There's a benefit to that for sure. Yeah. Whenever I do reviews,
Jamie and Dean can help me. I know I need a better space.
Spruce up your spot there.
Yes. I don't know. I just kind of threw that together. So I was like, I don't know. And I didn't even realize the fan was in the mirror. It's
great. It's great. Like she said, it's Lynchian. It's like you have an eye for where to place the camera, Trisha. That's the cool thing about the community too, is reaching out for help and guidance on that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what I did is I just like looked at other, channels that I watched that I really enjoyed. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do something like that. Let's see what happens.
My dream is one day to have a horror room and just have all my
Nice.
posters and memorabilia and all that.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. But hopefully one day.
Yeah, I had that. I miss my old studio, but I also miss my cats and all that kind of
I
fun
know.
stuff. But it's a new chapter of life, and I
Yeah.
can't dwell on the past. I just have to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so July 7th, that's when we're looking at hearing some news on the next
Hopefully.
steps.
Yeah.
Best of luck trying to, sell one of your businesses. I think that
Thank you.
that'll probably be a nice little relief, and
Yes.
and maybe just a little bit of cash would be nice too, right? Who wouldn't want
Always.
that?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, guys, what I have coming up here on the channel, I have to get to work here relatively soon, so we're going to have to wrap things up within the next few minutes. But what we've got coming up on the channel is I spoke with Evan from Rockland Graves Productions. He is going to appear he's coming back. He did Late Night with the Davey last fall. Guys, his channel is great. Like, he was at like 35,000 subs or whatever when he did Late Night with the Davey, like in August or whatever, and he crossed 100,000 before the end of the year, I think. So I love what he does. His deep dives, his video essays, they're very impressive. The guy is incredibly intelligent and very gifted at what he does.
He's so young too.
I know.
That's
It's
crazy.
frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating how talented he is.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him because, we were kind of talking about a little bit about what I covered yesterday. My concerns with Robert Eggers doing all of these like, remakes and not really doing like his own stories. So he's going to be on Late Night with the Davey Before Dark this Wednesday. So I think that'll be what time? I'll upload I can't think right now. I didn't sleep enough. It'll be earlier on in the day on Wednesday, and he's gonna jump on to just have that discussion about like, when we're fans of people that are filmmakers and that whole like wanting them to make the movies that they want to make, but then we also like we want something from them too. So we'll just kind of have that discussion. And then that night, because you guys helped me reach the super chat goal yesterday, on Wednesday night, I'm going to it'll be a double dose. It'll be a Late Night with the Davey Before Dark, and then we'll do a Late Night with the Davey watch party. And it looks like, because you guys wanted to do a Friday the 13th film, it looks like it's going to be Jason Lives, guys, because that's
the one I voted for. Yeah,
59 votes. Jason Lives has 49% of those votes. Yeah. So thank you so much to everyone that voted. That's a lot of people voting. I love seeing those numbers. So really appreciate you guys for taking part in that. So it'll be a busy Wednesday. And then on Friday, I'll be on Backtrack Cinema with Jason to talk about, to review and discuss Jaws and Jaws 2. And that's a big one, guys, because Friday, the 20th, is the actual 50th anniversary of Jaws. So that'll be a fun night. That's my favorite movie of all time. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. You can still vote in the poll, Ashton, but I'm pretty sure that Jason Lives is still going to win. So there you go. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up here for this live stream. Thank you guys so much for jumping on in here. I know we had to push back the time. Trisha, I really appreciate you working with me on that as well. And here we are. We got 20 people kicking it with us. I didn't know what the audience was going to be like middle of the day, especially after so many streams last night and everything like that. So you guys are so awesome for kicking it with us. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're watching after the fact, thank you so much. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about the collector and the collection. And, if you're looking forward to the new film in the franchise, The Collected. And you guys have been amazing. Like, comment, subscribe, share with someone who you think would dig this kind of content. You can become a member for just 99 cents a month. How about that? Just want to thank all the Patreon members and the channel members. Trisha, you are both of those, so thank you so much. Of course, thanks to all the subscribers, to our new folks that joined us in the chat, for Trisha's family, her brother Brent and her daughter Ella. Yes. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, guys. Don't leave before you do that. Yeah, this community just keeps on growing and keeps on becoming more and more amazing every day. Oh, and I've got to thank the Death Squad mods. You're also one of those, Trisha, so you're getting all the thanks. It's all about awesome. Trisha today, guys. Yeah. You sure are. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you. I've got to scoot off to work, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you sometime early next week. Oh, shoot, I almost forgot. I'm going to be on Facci Cinema on Tuesday for The Good, the Bad, and the Judgment on Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. So you can catch me all over the place this week. Not just here on this channel, but all over the place. Yeah, guys, that is going to wrap it up for us. Thank you so much. She's been Trisha McMasters. And you guys know the drill. Until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care. Oh, what happened here? Take care.